Ahoy and strap in for this week's episode. It is going to be one exciting one. He is the assistant coach of Team Bliss, who's not only been shaping esports since 2021, but has also survived the coaching antics under the tutelage of Coach Calvin. Get ready for some coaching tales, laughs, and maybe a few insider tips on handling the best in the business. Our next guest is Coach Poltron. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me, Pike. I appreciate the opportunity to finally be behind the camera again, getting my story out there, right? Talking about LCO, talking about Bliss and everything involved.
Oh, that's the best intro I've had from any guest so far. You're just like, yeah, I'm ready to get into it. Damn, I wish, I can't even beat that. But mate, how are you? Like, tell us what's been going on. I guess the big thing that I like to start off all these interviews with is let's get to know you. So tell us about who Poltron is.
Well, hey everyone. As you probably know by now, I'm Poltron, but my real name's Kim.
Kim.
You can call me Kim, Poltron, whatever you want, but yeah. Poltron, Coach Pol, that's what I've been called throughout the years. I think there was even a nickname I had in conjunction with one of the players, Tron the Pom. It was like Poltron the Pom or something like that.
Yeah.
I actually think Carbon made that up probably last year or the year before, but yeah, it's been good. Been in the LCO scene since 2021, since OPL rolled over, and finally back into the coaching grind. First place in the regular season so far. You have to be a little bit proud. Can't be too concerned about that now, can you?
That's a huge win so far, man. Like, you've just joined Team Bliss, and we'll definitely break down your little history and stuff too, but this is your first split under Team Bliss. You've been working with Calvin and Brendy and the boys over there, and you guys are just looking absolutely on fire. You said to me just before that you were like, yeah, we sort of have the perfect split going. I know I myself was like, there was a draw in there, but we would still count that as a win. That is still so big. It was just, well, hush, we'll delete that one out. No, we won't. Undefeated. But mate, like, tell us, like, how has Bliss been going? They've been treating you alright? Like, give us a breakdown on how that looks.
I mean, Bliss has been wonderful. Since day one I joined, every time you join a new org or a new team or you work with new people, you're always like a week or two in your mind to adjust, but day one a minute, everything clicked. Everything clicked. It was so good. We were all on the same page. A lot of banter between the owner, managers, myself and Calvin, who was the head coach of Bliss, and all the players. We just clicked, got along well. And I'd say throughout the split we've just evolved, Now we can say anything to each other basically. We laugh at everything together. If we win together, we lose together. We're super open to calling each other out. It's like, this play, you're absolutely trolling here, or Poltron. What point is this? This doesn't make any sense, right? Whatever it is, everyone is just held accountable, and it's a good open atmosphere to discuss it all. So yeah, it's good.
That's awesome to hear, man. It's such a different and fresh take that you don't really hear too much from like other orgs and stuff too, where they're sort of like, even what I've heard and been in comms in, I've heard people be like, no, we're doing really serious, and no one's having fun with it. Like, at the end of the day, this is a game. Like, yes, it's esports and we want to be as serious as possible, but if you're going in with a good attitude and a bit more of a positive, light-hearted sense, you're going to have so much more fun with it and probably perform better. Do you think you guys are like that?
I think if you really step back from LCO, really step back from the pro play, right? Why do you play video games? Why as a kid did you play a video game, or when you have grown older, a young adult, etc.? Why do you still play? Originally, you played for fun. You played for fun. You played to socialize with your friends, right?
Yeah.
You come home from school or whatever. If you're working, you come home from work and you're like, I just want to chill with my friends. But maybe your friends are online, or maybe you just don't get out in person enough, and you're like, hey, let's play some League of Legends, League of Legends. And if you're not having fun, what are you really doing? Because I will say, in terms of being a pro player in the LCO, it's not really a secret that the salaries over the years have gone down, and it's less of a full-time gig where it's more about, let's do part-time, or I do it for fun. Because I will say, if you're not on a top 2 team at least this year, you're really doing it because you enjoy the game. You have a love for the game, you want to compete, it's fun, and you're probably doing something on the side.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what it is. But we make it work. You know, there are plenty of players, plenty of fans. You know, all the coaching staff, all the orgs. Everyone's just here to support it. So yeah.
It's the big thing that I've noticed as well, and you've touched on a point that we'll definitely sort of talk about a bit more, because Bliss being the org that is front running everyone, not only are you winning, but financially you guys seem to be like the most successful. So we'll break that down a little bit later on. I've talked about it so much and so often, I'm sort of tired about talking about it. I just want to like get into it and just start fixing it. But it's great to hear. And you sort of mentioned that passion behind it, right? It's like, it's not just, if you're playing an LCO currently, yes, it sucks that there's no money and you're on Zinger boxes, but you're basically still, you're here to play for the fun of it, which is what I have actually noticed as a big thing for a lot of the players that I've talked to, and a lot of them that I've seen. They're just there for a good time. Even some of the top teams, like Swiper last week, he was just like, yeah, man, I'm just vibing. He's like, I'm old as shit, and I'm just vibing, and I'm like, I love it, man. Like, that's great.
I love the chance
like,
to play, man. You know, you gotta take the shots.
So,
an inside joke in terms of what you said about, obviously, you know, the paycheck's low, you're getting a Zinger box.
Yeah.
Another inside joke was sort of just, oh yeah, you get paid with a handshake and a mouse pad. That's basically it. You know, you're moving forward. You're like, oh, thanks for playing, mate. Here's your mouse pad. But yeah, of course, it's not really that bad. You know, you do get at least some compensation, which of course is nice. And again, you got a price for, right?
Yeah.
30,000 USD per split. It's nothing to be, you know, looked down upon. It's a fair bit.
That's actually, I haven't actually heard of a proper figure, so that's pretty good, honestly.
I believe it is a public.
It is?
Figure. I hope I'm not leaking anything.
Oh, everyone's been so hush hush.
In the previous 3 years, it was always 30,000 USD per split. And I will say,
it's like,
this year's the same. So yeah.
So that's what, really, 30. It's like 40,000.
45 Oz.
45. Yeah, 45 Oz. That's honestly, like, if I was on that and I had a second job as well, like, again, that's a part-time wage, like, I wouldn't be mad. Like, part-time to just jump on and play games in the evening and grind everything. I do that already. Like, it's just, would be nice. Being a content creator sucks.
I mean, the content creator route is hard, right? Because you need to really, there are no days off. If you want to make it, got to be pumping out YouTube video like once, twice a week, shorts, you know, TikTok, streaming. And of course, if you're working full-time or studying or whatever it is, you have a few hours a day, and you're like, oh, I want to relax, I want to play with my friends, I want to talk to my girlfriend, wife, whatever it is, and now you're like, no, I've got to put more time into this. It's hard.
Oh man, you're preaching to the choir right now. But this interview's not about me, it's about you, Kim. We're going back onto you. I want to talk about your history really quick. I want to talk, let's take me back all those years ago to Gravitas, and I want to get like just an idea of maybe one thing you've learnt from each team that you've coached for, because you were Gravitas and then Direwolves, and you were head coach. I believe you were head coach for Direwolves too. So you're head coach for Direwolves, Valixis was also there. And now you're at Bliss as an assistant coach. One thing from each team that I think you've brought on and improved yourself with, I would love to know.
So my very first team actually wasn't even Gravitas.
That's true. I know it's another one.
Gravitas was my first LCO team. And
correct.
The team I was actually on before, I was an assistant coach for a team called Enclave. Now that was a team in the UK LC. We competed in obviously a UK division, and that was my very first time coaching in, let's say, a competitive team environment. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was just a volunteer. I was unpaid. I wasn't even signed. I was just there to basically learn and help out. And that was good. That was good. I did that for probably close to a month. I don't know what the actual
27 days.
Game. Yeah, there you go. Right. I don't know what the actual Wikipedia said, because I eventually did sign with Gravitas because I wanted to coach a professional OCE team, and Gravitas gave me the opportunity in my rookie year. Coaching Gravitas, looking back at it, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like, damn, the only one 10 players signed, which is not like the usual 5 or 6 or 6 or 7 you have on the team.
Yeah.
And you only wanted 10 players. Oh, here, Poltron, Kim, Valixis, and I'm Kim. I just said myself my name twice. But Poltron, Valixis, you got to coach these 10 players. You got to make sure everyone's improving, everyone's having fun. And I'm just like, no problem, boss, I got it. And I'm just like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I've just got to work from what I know, which is, you know, I had a decent level of game knowledge, but working in a team environment, actually telling, you know, these other young guys who are mostly rookies as well,
Yeah.
oh, play like this, play like that. It was all just trial and error, really.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I mean, it was just fully trial and error, you know?
So that was your beta level, like Gravitas and sort of Enclave was your beta time where you sort of like, yeah, let's just figure out what's going on. Like, they're throwaway games, right? Like, Gravitas, don't even worry about it, man. They're fine. Sadly not around anymore, and I've got other stories that I know from other people about it. But that's awesome. So now Direwolves, like, you're leading up, and now you're at one of the teams that was so good for so long. You obviously picked up one or two things heading into this team.
Yeah, I mean, I spent the year on Gravitas. Then I spent a year on Divals where I played the first, or actually I coached the first split. Was never intending on playing. I never intended to actually play. But what had happened was our jungler at the time, Goodo, he got bought out by order. And then we were left with, okay, well, let's look at the free ladder, right? All the free agents, who can we get for split 2? And there was just no one.
Oh.
There were just very few players. And again, of course, there's always someone you can get, but was there really someone of the caliber to replace Goodo at that time? And Alexis and I spent a good 2 weeks looking through, even talking to a few players. We're like, you know what? At the end of it, I'm just like, hey, Alexis, I'm just going to play. I'll just play. I don't really have much faith in running a complete rookie on a team that wanted to get, you know, we wanted to try and push top 3.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into it. End up playing. We end up ending, I think, 4th and 5th. That year was hard. That was 2022 where Chiefs had Tophoon, Arthur, Tally, Raisin, Aladoric, and they were 21-0 in the regular season.
Yeah, that was their year, man.
They were unbeatable, and they were just, you know, crazy good. And even Pentanet had Volcan, Yuri, a couple imports, Praedon, Rogue, and I think Winter. And they, you know, these are all good teams. They're good players. And I just sort of jumped in there having no clue what I was doing as a player either in my rookie split, but I had a blast.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, it wasn't even that bad, you know. I was actually middle of the pack for my very first split, so I'm happy.
Introductory, mate. You cannot complain. You cannot complain. And then you left and went back to coaching because I think that was the second split or second year you were playing for Direwolves, and then you went back to coaching for them, and then it brings you up to Bliss now, and now you're here. This is the golden age for Kim, for Poltron.
Here we are.
Where are we going from here, man? Like we're in a good spot. I want to hear what's going good now, and then what's the future is. What's going on next?
Well, obviously on Bliss, we just finished the regular season, ending first, which is always good. Next week, 1 week of playoffs to determine basically who makes it to Taiwan, right? PCS. I'm really hoping for a quick 2-0 best of 3, 3-0 best of 5, right? I don't want to worry about having to drop a game or drop a series and then having to play again. I just want to win quickly, get to PCS, and actually take at least one series. Now, of course, we have the actual PCS teams this year and LJL, so it is even harder than last year. But after watching a lot of the middle of the pack PCS teams in LJL, they're not actually that much better than the top LCO teams. Now, they, of course, the odds of us realistically taking like a BO5 against them less likely than, you know, them just wiping us out, but it is very doable. It is very doable, and I think the key elements of, you know, what are the PCS teams better at? What are the Asian teams better at? Sure, they have better teamfight angles, right? They look for that creative flank. Their laning might be slightly better, but I look at my team and I've got very good players. Oh yeah. Right? I've got Biopath in the top lane. You know, 5, 6, 7 titles. I have no clue now, actually. Very good player. Incredibly stable. I've got Razzle 1 in the jungler. In the jungle. Second year playing. Now, I believe... Oh, he's not actually the newest player on Bliss, because we do have Scott. But Razzle's a very good player. One in my mind is the best LCO jungler. I don't think it's close. I think the only thing for him to work on is just getting a little bit more consistent. So recent weeks, he's finally started to click. I had a big chat with him, worked with him over the split, with both myself and Calvin and a few of the players, and, you know, he's back on form. I agree. He's going to be better than ever next week, and you'll see, right? Obviously, I'm saying it now, and who knows when this video will get released? Maybe we're over in Taiwan when it finally gets released. Maybe not. Who knows, right?
Oh, mate, it's gonna be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It goes out fast. I don't stop for no one. This goes out. I record and it ships. Bam.
Pike. You gotta send it out ASAP, you know?
But that's awesome though. Okay, that's really interesting on why not, and I'd love to talk about each player as well and work our way down. I think Bio, we can just let Bio sit over there doing the good thing that Bio does. But yeah, why not? It's funny because he's had, in my opinion, you're so bang on where I feel like he did sort of have a couple games there where he just wasn't performing to what he was capable of. And I saw that, and I saw a lot of other people were sort of like, why not? What's your positioning going on here? Why are you doing this when you know this is happening over there? What's going on? And everyone was having these conversations. And again, it's not trying to throw shade at why not, but we just know, we hold him to a higher level now, right? That's just the difference. But it's good to hear that you guys actively work on that. So are you guys like, how often are you guys VOD reviewing with each player?
Are you talking about individually?
I'd say like maybe if you just did a general, like maybe we'll use Why Not as the example. Like how often are you doing like a one-on-one coaching session with him to improve his game?
So I think with Why Not, every chat I have with him one-on-one, or if it's myself and Calvin both chatting to him, a lot of the chats will just come down to a mentality thing rather than a raw gameplay aspect.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the raw gameplay aspects we cover as a team, or we'll have plenty of times where it's, you know, 3 of us or 4 of us just together, and we're always talking about the game. You know, we're always talking about the game. We're talking about, oh, is this a good pick for draft? That is the environment you want to be in. You really want that close-knit, high-performance sort of mindset where everyone's a smart player, and we're all thinking about the game. You know, I go to bed, I think about drafting. I wake up, I look at my Discord, I'm like, oh, there are 5 messages from my team saying, oh, hey, I want to try this today, or I think this was actually a better play, and you're always thinking about it. You can't avoid it. And that's like the really big thing. It's less about having one-on-one chats. It's just more about, you know, coming together and just always being there for each other.
Oh, dude, I love that, and there's so many things in that I want to break down, but I'm gonna keep it on topic and keep talking about the players because I love the mental side of things. Like I'm a big study of like personal study of like psychology and stuff. So that's what. Dude, like I'm reading. I've just finished like 5 books back to back on like analyzing like human behavior and like habits and all sorts of shit. Whole nother conversation we can take off air. But I wanted, like, you mentioned that you guys really work closely as a team to refine how you guys play, and then your individuals more about the mental and staying focused and in tune. But I love that you wake up and you have these messages like, your team feels like they're so ingrained. Would you agree that you're so ingrained in the culture of LCO?
Well, I think for everyone, that
says a lot.
I mean, I was just going to say, I think for everyone on the team, including obviously all the coaches, players, management, we really, really, really want this win. We really want the LCO win, and of course we want to do well overseas, but we need to get that win. Bliss really want that first LCO victory, the regional title, and I look at my team, besides Brandon or Bipanther, who's won many times, and Violet, who has won the LCO once, no one else on the team has actually claimed that LCO title. This is a really big split, and it will be a very big year. But that is a big question. I'm just thinking how much more to add to that. Honestly, that's the best way to answer it without going, you know, into a 10-minute sort of answer.
No, fair. That's a good answer in itself. I think just wanting the win. If that's not competition, which is what the LCO is, I don't know what is. Like, and I feel like that's something we can touch back onto about the passion side of things, right? Is like you said, some of these players haven't had an LCO championship. The passion must be there if they're that hungry for it. And I said this to a couple other people, it's without that passion and that drive to get to where you want to go, you probably won't see the success. You can rely on talent, you can still be one of the best players, but if you don't have the passion and the drive to get there, you won't get there. Like, simple as that. As Michael Jordan, he got kicked off a basketball team in high school, or no, primary school as well, like the middle school. He got kicked off, and they said, "No, you'll never be good at basketball." Dude, it's Michael Jordan. It's Michael Jordan, man. Like, and that's the difference. Like, a lot of these players, and I think that's the big mentality I can see that Bliss is trying to put into your players. That it's okay to work on mistakes, but don't forget that the end goal of being an LCO champion, it's right there. It's so close. And I love that.
You gotta put in the hard work on all those days you don't want. You know, it's just every day of grinding it out, doing the tedious chores, it just all stacks up, you know. It's just like your confidence bar going up, your experience bar going up. And when you finally get to that best of 5 of that stage game, you're just better.
You're done.
You're just better.
It's
you
over.
Get all the reps in here. It's done.
It's a clean ace, and you're at the Nexus. That's exactly it, man. I love that. Okay, that's awesome. Now I wanna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna swap it around a little bit. I want to talk about how you and Calvin work together. I think that's something a lot of us want to know about. I know I specifically would love to know about it, as I'm heading into my own little coaching journey and trying to do VOD reviews and help players improve. Tell us about your experience with Calvin. How have you guys been meshing and working together?
I think we've found our float state basically.
I love float state.
We're just integrated very well. Of course, he's the head coach and I'm the assistant coach, and there'll always be that hierarchy. But in terms of just working with the team, in a sense, there's no rank where we'll both just complement each other, right? If I'm better with this player, like with a certain thing, or he's better at this point, we'll just take over. You know, it's just instant. We're like, oh, Kim, can you do this? Or Calvin, can you do that? And we work together really well. We bounce ideas off each other. And I think that's a very important thing to have, where, in my mind, you always want the hierarchy of, you have the management, head coach, assistant, or, whoever else you have. But you need to be able to work without the fear of anything, Work with just no rank. Again, you just go into it, no rank, the flow state. That's basically it. A
safe space to be exactly what you need to be at the exact moment. That's like exactly what I'm hearing, is like that flow state of just being like, you are so in the moment and so in tune with what's going on and where things are moving that there is no need for a hierarchy. You don't need to have that, hey, no, this is my idea. It's just like, no. It's just like, let's just bounce. Let's just feel where we're at and we'll find the answer together. Dude, that's such a big thing, and it's such a needed thing that I think the LCO has actually, especially teams, but the LCO in general has needed, where it's that we're not seeing flow state between staff and players, and there's so much disconnect and everyone feels separated and people are just having ideas all left, right and center trying to do shit. Like, if we just come together and just sort of bring it as one, we're going to figure everything else out and it's just going to flow. It's just going to flow. So that's awesome to hear. I want to... But tell us, like, so what are your maybe roles? Like, I know you sort of said that it's very similar. You both bounce backward and forth. But give us an insight into assistant coach. What does that look like?
So in my mind, even though I've been head coach basically every other year besides this year, nothing really changes. I will let Calvin lead, for example. What we do have is a weekly prep where... After our game day, we'll review the actual game with the team and we'll prep for the following week, right?
Yeah.
So I won't go into depth too much about what we're doing next week, but the main 2 opponents we'll most likely face will just be both Ground Zero and Antic. So we'll be prepping for them both very intensely, to put it that way. But yeah, a lot of prep goes into it. A lot of work goes into it. I think Calvin has an idea and he will talk to me first before we talk to the team. He's like, oh, what about this point, Kim? Or what about that point? I think this draft looks good. And then obviously I'll give my 2 cents on it. And I think probably 70 or 80% of the points we initially agree on. And then it's the last 20, 30% where, oh, hey, we need to fix it up. We need to talk to the team about it. We need to really bring everyone together. And that's why... that's why I just love working with Calvin, actually. We're just... we're alike, we're not the same. Because I don't want to be working with someone who's basically me,
No.
If I have a yes man, or for example, if I was a yes man to him, he'll probably just not enjoy working with me as much.
Yeah.
I don't think as a coach you want another coach to be like, oh, yes boss, it's good, looking good. Like, you don't want a cheerleader.
No.
At the end of the day, it's a high performance environment. Like, I need to be told by my players, or I want to be able to tell Calvin, oh hey Calvin, no, you're trolling here, this is bad, and him to not be like, you don't talk to me, I'm the head coach, right?
Yeah.
That's, again, going back to the thing of, yes, he's the head coach, there is a hierarchy, but everyone needs to be able to take criticism well.
Yeah,
for sure. Same thing as the players, where you have more, you have veterans such as Biopath and Harry, and then the other players are, slightly newer, but everyone's open to listening and talking, so. It's very good, yeah.
That's so good to hear, man. It's refreshing. It's just refreshing after years of watching and just like trying to, even in like the amateur scene where, you know, I've been a part of for so long, just hearing how they all talk to each other. I'm just like, can you guys just appreciate each other once? You're all just so toxic, like fucking hell, man. Like they all just, you should have heard some of those comms back when I was doing like Avalanche and stuff. Fuck, man, they were just loose cannons. I've never heard such filth. I was just like, how is that even a sentence? You've just said words and somehow it's just hurt not only the person you're talking to, but me. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just disgusting language.
I can't do it, man.
Yeah,
I'm so anti that. But no, but it's like what I was trying to get to is it's refreshing. It's nice to hear that there is this really nice unison. Things are working well. It's just really good to hear, man. So I really love hearing that. Now let's get back to the players because you mentioned Harry, and I want to talk about this mid lane god. He actually had a bit of a rough time this week, didn't he? He got soloed by Refury yesterday, didn't he? That was a bit rough when I saw that. I was like, come on, man! Like you're meant to be the god.
Was it Root Fury? I'm just trying to think.
Did you guys verse Kanga?
No, I think it was Fury. I think it was Chirp.
No.
Was it Fury? No, I think it was Fury. Yeah.
Was it?
I think it was. Fury.
I don't think
you're making me question it again. No.
Don't make me start researching stuff.
No,
I'll do it.
Right. I think it was Kanga.
I'm pretty sure it was Kanga. I'm gonna double check. You start talking. You start talking about it. I'm gonna.
Look, all of that's in the past. All right. We took the first place. We looked at the game, reviewed it, and moved on.
Yeah.
I will say Bypath was feeling quite sick that day, which is why he did underperform a little bit on that day.
Okay.
At the end of the day, like he brought it back. Comes to the team fight, down 50 farm, pops off, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's Biopanther. That's just how he does. But yeah, no. So Harry, this mid laner, like tell me about him. Like he's from NA. He's come back. How are you guys finding it? Do you like him?
I've never spoken to Harry before, in terms of never interacted with him before joining Bliss, and obviously I knew who he was. I knew he played on Gravitas and then Order, played overseas, right, on TL, and you look at his TL roster where you have a world champion as his jungler, and you have like Core JJ as well, and it's just like, wow, the experience, the actual experience in that roster, and for him to come back to join Bliss. I mean, first off, we're very grateful to have him. He's a wonderful person to work with and a brilliant player. But each time, or every time you have a player where they're so-called of a, sort of a hot shot in the sense that they've done a lot, or maybe they're just a very good player, or they have, really big ego, you don't know what to expect. But, when Harry came back, he was incredibly good to work with. He didn't think he was above anyone else in terms of, let's just say a hierarchy. All the players are the same. Of course, he does think that he's a better sense of the game than most of the team, which is completely fair. Yeah. And he'll bring up all the points in a nice way. And again, if someone disagrees with him, he'll listen to them. He won't yell over them. He'll just be like, okay, well, why do you think your point's better? And we'll hear it out and work from there. So it's a very rare player to actually have. Very rare on this team. Yeah.
If I can say one thing as well, I think that's one thing I've found consistent with any player that's gone overseas, and maybe this is just a note on OS in general, is when they go overseas, because they're held to a higher standard of gameplay where they need to act and behave in a certain way because they are on show a lot more in like NA, EU, all that sort of jazz. They do sort of humble themselves pretty quickly, and I think they do need to come back, or at least when they do come back, they're feeling a little bit more like, you know what, I'm good, but I need to just prove it rather than say it. And I think that's something I've noticed. Do you agree?
It really depends on the player.
Oh, it depends on the player.
A lot. Because who's actually come back from NA this year?
So
Swipe was coaching.
coaching.
King are back.
Yep.
And then you have
Harry. Kevy, I think, is still... He was last year, but he's a fill-in. He's a fill. Who else? I think that's it.
I'm trying to think about the active players.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this brings me to another point where I remember King, in one of his earlier interviews in the LCO this year, they actually asked him as well, what are your thoughts on LCO this year? Do you want to like win? Are you the favorite, etc., etc.? And his response was like, oh, you know, I've already shown what I can do overseas. I think I have nothing else to prove. And I sort of chuckled a bit with that mind when I heard him say that with that mindset, because that's how you lose.
That's right.
Even if you were the best AD, right? Even if you were the top AD, you're coming back to the LCO, and on paper you should be the best. You need to prove it every year. You can never get complacent. You're the best one year, next you don't work as hard. It's Rookie or this other guy, you know, the number 2 that was always under you. He's still maintaining that effort. He wants to win. What do? You're like, oh, I've won a few times already. I'll slack off, and then you lose your room. You lose the playoffs, right? That's a big thing. Where I have Panther who never, ever, ever will disrespect his opponent. He goes into every game. You know, we could be playing against. I'm not sure who the bottom seed is. I think it's Mammoth or Dials potentially. Yeah. And he'll make sure, like, oh, hey guys, it's not for fun, alright? Take it seriously. Like, we need to have a clean game. I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be doing stupid stuff because we think they're worst players, right? Just treat the game like you're going to treat playing against the top team. And if you do that, you won't drop games to the weaker teams, right? Or you shouldn't. Yeah. That's the big thing.
Have you noticed that same mentality has started to develop in all high elo? Like, have you noticed that that's maybe improving? Or do you think, I guess now I'm talking about the state of the game in general, right? Like, Panther, one of the best players we have. I know, like, Schönfire was rank 1-2. Like, I know Schönfire's had a big turnaround in mentality where he was quite toxic and very in your face. Maybe in your face instead of toxic is the right word. But I feel like he has sort of spun it a little bit more. Like, when I see him on cam, like, I'm not scared of him anymore. Like, that's a nice feeling to have. Do you think there is a mental shift going on in OS where we are starting to work towards a higher caliber? You can say no.
I think yes and no. I think some of the older players are actually getting better. I think players like, you mentioned Schön, right?
Yeah.
Like, there is a shift. He's a lot more mature. You won't see him say or do the things he used to do. But at the same time, some of the veteran players, I'll see them playing solo queue, or I'll see how they, you know, tweet. Not really a change. Maybe a little bit better, but yeah, overall, I will say, you compare now to like 2019, 2020, is it getting better? Yes, it is getting better, right? I think the environment is finally getting better. I
think, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I think because of the financial side of things taking such a turn as they did, it's removed a lot of the players who were just gatekeeping seats for the money. And I think a lot of those people who were gatekeeping were there for not the right reasons, not to win, not to improve the scene, but because they could be there. And I think a lot of those players that did, not all, definitely not all, like, again, I've met a lot of them, they are lovely, and I love half these human beings, but some of them, when I did meet them, I was sort of just like, why should I actually cheer you on? And I actually said that to one of them too. I said that to one of them. I was just like, why should I cheer you on? And he's just like, because I'm the best. And I'm like, I literally was like, you're kind of a dick. And he's just like, what? And I'm just like, mate, we're not online anymore. I can say whatever the fuck I want. If you try to hit me, it's go time. And he was just like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? I'm just like, mate, I don't really like you that much. You are a dick. You need to step that up. Like, if you want to be a pro, act like a pro. And yeah, they didn't really respond well to that. And fair enough. I'm very abrasive like that, and I'll say my mind. But at the same time, like, it was very well warranted, because as a fan, like, if I'm going up to a pro player, if I ever came up to you and you were like, Pike, who the hell are you? You probably wouldn't be saying my name at that point. You'd be like, who are you? But you're like, I'd be like, hey, Poltron, I'm a huge fan. I'd love to just have a chat. And you come up and you're just like, fuck off, mate. I'd be like, whoa, like,
you got to be a decent human. And this has nothing to do with being a pro player or anything, right?
Yeah.
You look at professional sport athletes or anything. Of course, a lot of them are dicks, of course, but most of them, I'd say, are relatively decent. Where if they're busy, they're like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. I need to go. I'm busy, right?
Yeah.
But if they're busy, they don't want to chat, and that's just common courtesy.
Yeah, but so back, I guess, to the same point, because you bang on, but I think that's what I was moving towards, is we've removed, or a lot of those players have decided it's no longer for them. Great. And that's where the passion players have now started to rise up through the ranks and who've been sitting on the sidelines. Like, one I would point out is probably Chirp, who I was casting in like amateur. He was in like Avalanche and a bunch of different stuff. He's now a pro player and he's starting to develop. Yes, he's a little awkward on camera, but he doesn't need to be the best on camera. Like, that's what media training should be for, and trying to get them up to speed and make them feel more confident. Like, at the end of the day, he's still a very good mid laner and plays exceptionally well. But it's someone who's there, who wasn't looking for the money, is just there to be able to say, hey, I'm an LCO pro player in League of Legends, man. Like, if I said that to someone, they'd be like, what are you doing here? And I'd be like, sorry, man, I'll go home and keep playing League. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're starting to see these passion players, and I kind of love that name, the passion players that are coming through, wanting to see the scene grow, and I think that is what will help us grow.
Yeah, I mean, end of the day, you need new talent to come in, right? If all the old talents are eventually being pushed out, who's going to replace them?
Yeah.
Back in the day when OPL was a thing, you had the OCS, right?
Yeah.
You had, 8-10 teams in OCS where, okay, you have all these amateurs, all these rookies who want to play OPL, who want to play the LCO, they have a shot, and now it's gone, right? You don't have that bridge, which is the biggest issue, where you have the Pro League, and then realistically what you have, besides maybe orgs like Avalanche, etc., who run the amateur tournaments, and people like yourself who are actively trying to help these amateur players and, bridge the gap between LCO, managers, coaches, whatever, players, and, everyone who wants to get in. It really is hard. It really is hard. If someone wanted to get into the LCO, they're like, oh, how do I do it? There's no, there's no sign-up form where you're like, oh, I want to join a team, right?
Yeah. And it's so much harder as well. Like, I know from a coaching side, it's, have you faced players that have come in and you're like, I'd love to have this player. They're a must-have on the team, and then they've said, well, I won't actually play for you unless I have these two other players join the team. Have you found that at all? Yeah, so I feel like that's a big thing where, again, like, do you find that quite a lot? Is that still really prevalent today, in today's day and age?
All the time. I made every roster I was on except for the Bliss roster this year. Or not every roster, but I had a big say in the majority of the rosters, and I'd always have people message me. Even in this off season, I didn't make a single LFT, wasn't even playing. I had many people message me. It's like, oh, Poltron, are you coaching this team? Are you looking for players? I want to join, this team with you. Or I think there were 2 full teams.
Yep.
2 full teams of 5 approached me. It's like, oh, we are looking to join an org. Please let us trial, etc. And
holy shit!
I don't know why they're messaging me in a way. Like, I wasn't involved at that time. I wasn't even sure I was going to be in LCO this year.
Oh wow!
And it wasn't for. I joined Bliss for a couple of reasons, and it was mainly because one reason was because Biopanther was here, and I really wanted to work with him because I do think he is one of the best players in the league. And then I've got a couple other small reasons. And obviously, I want to win, right?
Yeah.
You want to win the LCO once.
For
I've been in
sure.
LCO for 3 years. This is my 4th year, and I haven't won a title yet. And I really want that title. I'm just like, okay, well, come on, we'll give it one last shot, right?
Yeah.
We'll go for it, make it work. But yeah, in previous years, especially for bot lane, I would have, this 80 support. They want to play together, right? Join it up. Now, my take on it is, it can be good. Often it's bad. Often it's just friends who want to play together.
Yeah.
And friends who want to play without intensity are never going to win. They will never ever win. If there's no intensity, if there's no like kill factor in their head where, he might be my friend, but if he's inting me or not trying hard, like, I need to be able to tell him. Like, you gotta be able to just stand up to your friend and be like, oh hey, like, why are you not why are you not trying? Like, this is bad. It is your fault. Don't blame it on this guy, right? And that just doesn't happen with the majority of friend groups. They're just like, it's whatever, who cares, bad draft, or, this guy is bad, or like whatever it is, right? Too many excuses.
I hate excuses.
You're not gonna win. Like, I don't want players or coaches to bring me problems. I want solutions before they even come, right?
Yes!
I want solutions.
Yes, Kim!
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. I love you so much. You're saying words that I just am hitting on every fucking note. It's everything I've wanted to hear and more. I totally agree. I fucking hate it when everyone's like gatekeeping these roles, being like, nah, I'm not gonna play unless I have 3 other of these players that are my best mates and we all finger jerk each other and all sorts of shit. Like, nah, dude. At the end of the day, it's a fucking org. It's a team. If they want to be taken remotely seriously and want to succeed, it's exactly what you said. Don't play with your mates. Yeah, if you are the right fit and it works for the team, 100%, I have zero problem with that. But if you're coming in and you're holding this position, you're holding them hostage, man, and you're like, I'm going to shoot the hostage if you don't fucking give me my way. I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I don't care how good you are. You're not playing on my team. I would be so brutal. But again, I know there's the other side of OS where it's like, it's such a struggle to find good players that are consistent, always willing to step up. And I know that's a hard thing for our region, but still, I think there needs to be a higher caliber. If we want to start taking ourselves seriously, like I know Bliss is doing, and starting to shoot for PCS level gameplay, we need to start being tougher on these guys, man. They've been sitting behind their keyboards for too long. They're keyboard warriors, and man, I fight keyboard warriors. I just can't deal with that. I just can't do it. People
who just hide behind their screen, behind their keyboards.
Yeah.
You know, I've had many people say terrible things to me, and if I ever met them in person, I'm sure they're actually pretty normal people, pretty decent people.
Yeah.
Or they'll just avoid. Like, I've met many pros at photo shoots, etc., where in solo queue or even in messages that didn't play me, they said bad stuff that I'm not going to say here, and I'll walk up to them at the photo shoot. I'm like, oh, how you going, mate?
Hey,
How's
man.
it going? What's up, bro? And I kid you not, they're looking at the ground and like, oh, hey. A lot of them are socially awkward, and I'm not going to name names, but...
No. Can you give me an example? Not a name. I don't want names. That's not what I like to do. I'm not calling people out. But can you give me an example of what someone said? Like, if it gets to the point of like maybe racism, I'll say we'll stay away from any slurs or anything. But give me an example or a taste.
I don't think I've had anything racist being thrown at me, or if anything was racist, I haven't taken it into my memory. But
yeah.
I think some of the worst things that have been said, I'm not sure what the YouTube guidelines are, but I've had like pro players tell me, oh, you should, like, if I ever see you IRL, I'll chop your fingers off and make sure you can never play another game in your life. It's like stuff like that, and obviously you get casual threats of go kill yourself and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I get that every day.
It's actually as bad because it's not targeted, but when your player's targeting you, like, I think I was actually on the luckier side where I don't have as many haters or enemies, whatever you want to call it. But when they say, oh, Poltron, you're so effing bad, you should just go cut your hands and like move on. And I'm just like, bro, you need some help, man. It's a video game. Like, relax, man. Like, Jesus. Focus on yourself.
Well, that's exactly it. I like to hit them with maybe not so much reverse psychology, but they'll be like, "Oh mate, you're so trash," and I'll be like, "Yeah, oh man, I admit it, I'm playing like shit. What can I do better?" And they just go, "What?" I'm just like, "If I'm that bad, man, obviously you're better than me. Tell me what I can do better. Coach me through this. What do I need to do?" And they're just like, how the fuck do I respond to this? And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, where's the coaching? Why are you not amping me up? Am I not going to be the best on this team now? They're just like, what the fuck, man? And then they just mute me because I'm just so overly positive and trying to get like support. And then I'm like, all right, I won. It's fine. You can be as toxic as you want with someone else, but not with me, baby. I'm too bright for that shit, eh? But it's the same thing. I think it's such an interesting game. League being the most toxic game. Do you see it maybe trickling into the LCO at all? Do you see toxicity in LCO? Because we don't see it as spectators, of course. Like, we don't see chats, we don't see pings or anything like that.
I don't actually think there's, at least last year, this year, thinking back to it, I don't really think there's toxicity in the LCO, right? Is there banter? Is there a bit of BMing? Sure. I think Lana is actually a huge instigator where if he makes a good play or the enemy makes a bad play, what he'll do, he'll all chat. For example, if the enemy team, they have an Alistair.
Yep.
Alistair flashes and misses the combo.
Oh, yeah.
He'll just all chat, Google Alistair flash combo, and stuff like that. And it'll just, like, even if they don't type back, right? you really know they're a little bit frustrating. You really know it gets to them a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny, you know. It's kind of funny.
That's why not though. That's like his character that he sort of built as well. Like it's like Kiyosei, not Kiyosei, Kisei. His character is just like he never smiles. He's always down in the dumps. And again, I've said it every episode that I've done. Kisei, when I see you, I'm going to tell you a joke. I'm going to get you to laugh. That's a guarantee. I've been prepping jokes for months. But no, it's like, it's the same thing. Why Not's got that character. He's happy. He's sort of, he's very upbeat, very sort of energetic. We need more of that in LCO, man.
Yeah, of course. You need to create drama. You know, end of the day,
Yeah.
what do people love? They want that emotional factor. They want that drama. They want that light banter or a bit of shit talk, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you go on Twitter or you go on LCO, whenever you have the most clicks, the most views, it's always because of, oh, this player is just being called out by this player online, or it's a huge rivalry, right? Or of course, if it's a hype, you know, best of 5, and you know, there are a few other things that have happened this split that I can't talk about here, but there's been a lot of traction online, especially on Twitter. You can probably guess a bit.
If I give you, oh well, it's definitely win trading.
Oh, no comment. No comment. I can't comment.
Yeah, so you've got a non-disclosure agreement, is what you got.
Look, all I'll say is, if I talk, I'll be suspended for like the split match. So
we won't talk about it then. We're gonna stop. I know what you're talking about.
Move
Yeah,
on.
we're just gonna breeze right over that because no, I don't want to get you in trouble. That's not what these are about. It's about shedding light on the good people in the scene that are doing good things. Let's talk about the future, man. We briefly touched on it. I want to know what not only your plans are for the future as a coach, League of Legends, just even in general, you as a person, I'd love to know. But then what does the future hold for the LCO? Like, what do you think is our biggest weakness, and what do you think is our biggest strength that is going to help us guide properly moving forward? So let's start with LCO, and then we'll get to you.
the LCO. I mean, it's a real bummer that we have to go through the PCS now. You know, back when you go straight into MSI, Worlds, that was cool. And I will say, I think a lot of the older pro players, they're now a lot, or you know, they're not as incentivized to actually play, because I didn't actually realize until this year, but the prize money you get from MSI and Worlds is crazy. Like,
really,
if you're getting a 10 to 15% share of like the total prize money, you go to Worlds or MSI, you're getting like 20-30 grand.
Oh, I think I remember seeing that.
Like,
yeah,
it's pretty big, and that's like flat on top of, you know, whatever you're being paid plus the LCO prize money. And if you're the best team, you're going to MSI and Worlds, you could get like 50k Oz in prize money. Then it goes up to, you know, 55, 60k from LCO, plus whatever your salary is on. Like,
holy shit,
you're actually close to 6 figures, unironically, playing video games in this region. So yeah.
Wow. I knew there was money in it because I remember seeing another team, I think it was maybe an LPL team or something, and they sort of, for some reason, they posted about how much they made. And I think they took it down pretty quick, but I remembered it. And I was sort of just looking at it going like, fuck, man, you make, just going, you do make bank. But then I think every tier you work up, they add dollars to it. So every time you make it through a bracket or you win a series, you make more money on top of it too. So it just climbs. So it's funny how that's not really an incentive. We look at it as the base level of like, oh man, we can't even afford to play our players for the week. We're just getting them Zinger boxes, just getting them the gift cards to KFC. And it's just like, do the players think about that? Like, and then we'll go back to LCO future. Yeah, do they look at that, or do they look at, I'm versing Antic next week and I need to prep this?
Are you talking about the players like getting the bonuses and or like the merch, single boxes?
Oh, I'm just gonna say like the bonuses. Like, do the players look at an end goal a bit more than just winning LCO?
I think it's to have fun with your team though. You want to have fun because even though, so I'll go back actually. I'll talk about last year really quick, where Chiefs won back to back, right?
Yeah,
the best team wasn't really that close. But from speaking to some of the players on that team, the team environment was horrible.
Yeah.
And they didn't have fun.
Mm-hmm.
They won, and they enjoyed winning, but for most of the year, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I haven't won yet. I haven't gone overseas. I haven't competed overseas yet. And I'm hoping this is the year where all of that happens for me. But I know if we do win, if we do go overseas, etc., my team will be really happy. We're all friends outside of the game. We all get along well. Whenever we're watching, another league together, or we're just talking about other stuff, we all have a good laugh. We all get along well, and it's just a great feeling. And I think that's actually the big thing you want to look forward to. Not the bonuses or sponsors. Like, no one's really in it for the cash, because at the end of the day, oh, you win the LCO, you get an extra grand maybe, right? I don't know what it is, or you might get a few sponsors. Cool, that's sweet. Like, I'll take it, right? I'm not saying no to free cash, but I really want that experience, having fun with my friends in Taiwan, having fun on the stage, right? Meeting everyone, talking to the fans, talking to all the supporters at DreamHack if we make it there, and that's just something I'm looking forward to.
They just need to announce where the fucking DreamHack is going to be.
I believe it's Melbourne, isn't it?
Well,
I don't know.
It's frustrating. It's because I'm a content creator for it. I was the first run of content creators for DreamHacks. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going DreamHacks, let's go. And then they're just like, yeah, no, we don't know where it is or what's happening. And I'm like, you've got dates. Just give me a city so I can book flights. That's all I care about. But that's a whole nother thing. That's another rant that Pike can go into another time. But no, future of LCO. This is a big thing, especially as like someone who's been ingrained in the culture, especially from a coach's perspective. How do we step up is the big question, I think, is on everyone's mind. Because I talk to people all day, every day about this, about what we could be doing better, what we should be doing, all that shit. And I've got my own ideas, but I want to hear it from you.
Alright, I'm gonna shit talk
basically
all the LCO coaches right now.
Fuck yeah.
And half the players, because most coaches or most players, I mean, I've seen a couple of your other interviews, and besides a few people, no one will ever say this, because one, they're either in the category of the person I'm about to describe, or two, they just want to have, no bad blood. But for me, luckily, I'm at a point where it doesn't really matter. It's like, I'll just spit the truth and people will just know. Yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah.
So first off, maybe 2 or 3 of the LCO teams, in terms of their raw coaching staff, are even remotely qualified. The other 5 or 6 teams, they have no coaching staff. Their coaching staff, what they do is they book scrims. Now, this isn't to put them down, right? Because end of the day, there aren't many coaches available, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to come coach for next to no cash? Because I believe for most of the teams, the players are the ones who eat majority of the salary, the coach is getting a portion of it, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you can't expect to have these ex-pros, all these top-tier players from, like, you had what, Choo Choo, Swiper, Fantix back in the day. You had imports, even in OCE, and those were the good coaches. Like, they knew what they were talking about. But now you got to, like, a random coach, maybe they're like platinum diamond in the game, where I don't think rank is everything, but do they actually know what they're talking about? What do? Do they provide feedback? Every single pro I've spoken to over the last 2 or 3 years, 90% of them have all told me, oh, their coaches were worthless. They were there for emotional support. Now, is that a bad thing? Well, obviously, if you don't have a qualified coach in terms of the game knowledge, at least having that emotional support's good, right? At least you can create conversations. You need to mediate conversations. And that's what majority of those coaches are. They're all mediators. Because end of the day, the players know more about the game than they do, the players on the matchups, etc. And unless you're a veteran coach, such as Calvin's been here many years, or an ex-pro like myself, it's actually very hard to have the authority of the players, because you could probably interview half the players and say one quick question: do you respect your coach's authority? And they will never want to say, oh, I trust them completely. They're like, oh yeah, they give some good points. No one's going to go out of their way to shit talk the coach, right? I think it's just disrespectful.
Yeah. And
I'm never going to name any names, because that's just like, end of the day, my job here, what I'm trying to do is not shit on them.
No.
Like, I'm just saying it how it is, but they're all trying their best, and props to them, right? That's just all it is.
Yeah.
But you just have no. I kind of went on a bit of a ramble, but I'll bring it back to the original question.
I loved it.
On like,
how do we step up?
How do we step up, right? How do we build that infrastructure back? We need a lot more stuff in the off season. You need pros, as in pro players, coaches, or org managers, running stuff in the off season.
Yeah.
Whether it's like an amateur tournament, right? Even Avalanche stuff, right?
MCOM. MCOM's actually got one going on.
Yeah, MCOM's got one going on, right? And MCOM are technically partnered with Iron, so they're sort of in the LCO now. And I think 2022, I think it was Chiefs 2022 or 2023 Chiefs, one of the two. They ran a tournament, and that was more of a
training ground.
Yeah, training ground, right? I think it was more of a charity thing, but it's good. You got a bunch of, well, you got two pro players on each team, roughly, all one pro player as a captain, and then 4 top tier solo queue players, amateur players. You give them the chance to have fun on the broadcast. You give them a chance to play with a veteran on their team, and again, it's just a good thing. It's a good charity, good foundation, right? That is what you need to do. If these orgs come out, they even come together. Oh, between Split 1 and Split 2, we run a 1 month tournament, or even a weekend tournament.
Yeah.
Even a couple weekend tournaments. That is all you need to do. And if you actually have players that go out of their way to help, I know, for example, Biopanther. If you ever ask that guy, hey, can you give me any tips on this or that, or hey man, you're a good player, could you help me get into the LCO? He'll always give you a response.
Yeah.
He'll never ignore you. He'll always say, oh hey, how's it going, etc. You should do this and that. But the reality is, most players, let's say you're a solo queue player, you're a master tier, right?
Yeah.
You hit master tier, or maybe you're grandmaster. I don't really care too much about the specifics, but you want to go pro. You add a random solo queue player who's a pro, and you ask them, oh hey man, I saw you play for this team, how do I get in? The majority of these players will literally say, like, F off, unfriend you, not respond to you, call you dog shit. It is unbelievable. Like, these are just humans. Like, these are real people. Like, why are you saying these things, man? Now, look, if you're frustrated in a solo queue game, okay, maybe this guy's like 0-10, and he's asking you in the game, and you don't want to respond, sure, okay, I understand, you're frustrated, you don't want to deal with it.
Different situation.
If you're out of game, they're adding you, they're reaching out to you, because they think you're a good player, or they respect you, right? And you go out of your way to just call them bad, like what are you doing? Like you're ruining the future of LCO.
It touches on, briefly, the gatekeeping notion that I talked about for so long, and I've actually noticed a lift in the gatekeeping purely because so many people started talking about it. I think it caught wind in the higher ups, and they're just like, yeah, we should probably be better about this. It's picking up way too much traction, because I've noticed it's improved. But I think that's a big... back onto yours, I 100% agree. I think tournaments in the off season, I think orgs running little events. I've reached out to orgs and said, hey, I want to shoutcast your training grounds. I just make some fucking content for it. No one knows who you are until you start LCO. So it's exactly. How about we do something together? And I know when Chiefs did their training grounds, I reached out to be a caster, but they were like, no, we've got budget. We'll get Rusty, Skimmy, and all them. I'm just like, you know what? Fair enough. They're fucking fantastic. I wouldn't not say get them. Like, if I could replace them one day, that's awesome too. But I'm not one of those guys. So at the same time, I want to do that sort of shit, and I know there's so many other people that want to do it too. Like, I've started running my own tournaments, but they're streamer-based tournaments, so it's literally just I get 4 streamers together, they come over and they build a team of players from their community, and they have tier list of what sort of players they can get for different master tier and all that jazz, and then they come and just play a game. And it's just a one-night tournament for the weekend, and people fucking love it, because it's something that's actually entertaining, that adds value to a scene that doesn't have as much as it should. So I totally agree that we need amateur tournaments. We need an OCS, or I know, as someone who's on the inside track, the ODT, which is coming under QUT, which is, I think Bliss was in the last ODT when they were just sort of trialing it. Kanga's in it as well. We've got these teams now putting into amateur scenes. I actually want to see it step up now and have LCO back them. I think LCO needs to step up and say, hey, okay, ODT, we love what QUT's doing here. We'll give you our logo. You can be officially signed off as an LCO partner, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, however they want to brand that shit. That's the difference, man. And then we'll say, hey, we'll recast it onto the LCO. So it'll go live on LCO, but it'll be the ODT. Awesome. Instantly, you're going to get, how many viewers is LCO getting at the moment? 3,000 to 4,000 pretty consistently? Boom.
Yeah, I mean,
amateur scene built.
5,000
yeah.
It's growing.
It is.
We just have, like you said, we have people in the amateur scene this year, maybe even playing Split 2 or playing next year, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, we saw them play in the amateur scene. They look good. Can they play well in, the upper scene? Or...
Yeah, main stage. Like, can they do it? I totally agree, man. I think that's just it's the missing link, and we keep coming back to this whole conversation of, oh, there's no money, LCO's not able to afford anything. Cool. A lot of these players are just willing to do it because they fucking love the game. Give them a shot. Just even give them a chance. Like,
you just need to bring them into the fold. Like,
yeah,
see them in the, actually in the scene.
Dude, I was literally, maybe a month ago, I was so close to saying, you know what, fuck being a caster. I'm just going to start gunning to manage, like, LCO and, like, tournaments and just run my own fucking scene and be like, because, like, there's so many big ways you could do things.
Yeah.
And then I said, no, I fucking love being on camera and I'm beautiful, so I can't deprive the world of my glorious smile. I had to do it. But, like, you know what I mean, right?
Very
like, that's
nice.
the thing. Please don't. but right, like, I think that's such a thing, is we have people who want to do this. How do we give them the tools to do it? And I guess that's not a question, it's more of like an open-end statement of like, how do we make the tools to do it? And I think it's just letting people put in their time and start developing a little bit more. But no, I love that. Okay, now I want to talk about bigger things. Big fish to fry. How do we do better on the world stage? Let's say we make it through PCS. We're looking good. We're feeling feisty. We've got the players. We've got the skill. We've beat PCS. We've beat PSG Talent. We've beat PCS. We fucked them up. We went 3-0 in a best of 5 finals, and they were just like, "Fuck, man, why not just shat in my mouth?" And it hurt. Like, that's the conversation, and you can quote me on that. But like, let's hypothetically, what does this do for us? What does it do for us?
Look, okay, if we're good enough to beat PSG Talent and make it to the world stage...
No, you are good enough. We need to rephrase that. You are good enough. When you beat PSG Talent, yep.
And when we prove to everyone that we're good enough by beating PSG Talent...
There we go.
And making it on that world stage...
Fuck yeah.
Look, that's when all the work, like every single scrim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every scrim, every solo queue game, every conversation you've had, from the off-season all the way to that actual stage game. Everything matters, right?
Yeah.
That's just building your game knowledge, building your confidence, building your reps. That's your best chance. Now, of course, you need the best players.
You do.
You need the best coaching staff to actually know what your players need, because end of the day, even the best players, I forgot which podcast I was hearing on. It was one of the big league podcasts, but they said when you're a player, when you're on your season, you get tunneled. You actually lose track of what you're good at and what you're not good at. You don't have a good perspective. And that is why you need a really good coaching staff, or even a substitute player, right? Someone on the outside who's watching the games, be like, oh, hey, no, this is not why we're losing. Your pick is really good, right? We've had a few bad games, or, this is a bad pick, this shouldn't be good, or, hey, why did you stop playing this? You're really good at this, right? And you sort of need those, positive affirmations. You need to be reaffirmed. Oh, this is good. This is not good, etc. That's just the big thing. Like, I honestly think that's just the biggest thing.
So it's keeping yourself grounded. So having the people around you to keep you grounded, and make sure that you're still performing at your optimum best, is maybe what it is. Ooh, I like that. That's the next level. We should be doing that now, so that when we get there, it's already ingrained into the system. That's why I asked those questions, because now it's on in front of mind, being like, oh no, I need to keep my guys there, like keep them front of mind, keep them focused. You're welcome, mate. I should just be, I should be your assistant coach. No. This is the assistant to the assistant coach, and I'm just there being like, oi, Kim. Stay grounded, bro. Stay grounded. You're just like, fuck off, Pike. Get out of here. Like, in the middle of you coaching you guys, and I'm like, hey, guys, just keep up the good work. Like, fuck off. Get out of here.
We were 2-0 in the, the grand final, and now we're, it's 2-2 that we're about to be reverse swept. Ooh. And you're like, guys, keep cool. It's good.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, shut up, Pike. Shut up.
Fuck you, Pike.
We gotta win. And of course, that's when, okay, this is actually something where I don't think I've ever been in the 2-2 in this scenario yet. But the biggest issue is if you're a coach and you're the one frustrated, or you're the one, getting emotional, your team is done.
Yep.
You cannot afford that. If you're 2-2, you're the coach, your players are frustrated. You know they're worried. You know they're nervous because they have to go out and play the fucking 5th game, which is going to determine like everything, right? You get to be able to calm your team. You're like, oh, hey guys, look, we're going to choose, blue or red this game. We're going to drop like this, all right? Good job getting this far. Let's close out game 5, all right? It's just another best of 1, right? We have nothing to lose. Leave it all out there.
Yep.
You got to stay calm, keep the boys in check. That is all it is.
Just gotta, stay present, stay in the moment. That's the best part. I feel it, man. That's my flow state. Is someone coming up to me like, Pike, you're shit. I'm just like, no, Pike, you're the best. Just breathe. Take a deep breath. You're all good. They're like, and then 5 minutes later, they just come back. They're like, Pike, you're shit. I'm just like, yeah, fuck. Because he got me. Son of a bitch. But no, okay. Now, Kim, it has actually come to the end. I don't want to keep you any longer. I like to keep these at about a 1 hour piece. It didn't even feel like an hour. Oh, never, man. It does. Like we could honestly, I could keep talking to you for hours if I'm being genuine.
I mean, we could, but you gotta keep it. Sort of pixeling.
It's giving people a chance to digest what we've said. We've given them so much information. But now, Poltron, I've got one thing that I like to do. You said you've watched a couple episodes, so I think you know what you're in for. You're in for the pub or sub game, and I'm going to put a little cheer sound effect on that because this is going to be a good one. Fun fact, you're the first person I'm going to tell this to. I don't prep anything for this. I wing the shit out of it. There is zero prep. I literally just came up with this idea and I was like, yeah, I could just wing this. I should really write these questions down. So to explain to you what we will be doing, Pub or Sub is a fun little game mode that I came up with. The premise of Pub or Sub is I'm going to shoot out as many questions as I can in under 20 seconds for you. You just have to answer them as best as you can. If I like your answers, you can either get a pub or a sub. So a sub is a sub to my Twitch channel. A pub is I will buy you a drink at DreamHacks and we'll have a good time playing League of Legends. You know what most people go for. Yeah, no, it's I'm gonna be broke as fuck. But okay, Kim.
Right, yep.
Are you ready for pub or sub?
Look, I'm ready for it. Send
okay.
It,
what? Send it? Oh, fuck.
Send it,
no one said send it yet. All right, timer is on the screen, and here we go. All right, who's your favorite player on Team Bliss?
Biopanther.
Biopanther, why?
Yeah. Oh, he's just the GOAT.
If
He's
you
very good to work with. I think.
Kiss, marry, or fuck, who would you do in your team?
Fuck. I'll kiss Scott.
Kiss and Scott?
Marry Violet.
Yep.
Fuck Hayri. I don't know. We just went from support to mid. I have no clue. I'm not breaking that down. Off the top of the dome.
That's fine. We're gonna move
on.
Your 20 seconds was up, so I'm gonna ask you these 2 questions for the back. How confident are you guys feeling to take home the LCO championship this split? Is my last very confident? Out of 10. Out of 10.
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
I don't think it's going to be close enough. I think it's going to be a 3-0 or 3-1.
I like that confidence. Well, Poltron, that does bring us to the end. Thank you so much for coming on, man. You've been an absolute joy and a pleasure. My final question is why I said there was 2 questions. Who do you think we should get on next for the next episode? So I'll be reaching out to them. You can refer me to them as well if you'd like. Who would you like to see on to have a chat with about League of Legends?
This is a good question. I actually don't know for once.
Ooh, okay. Well, then you're going to have to get back to me then. And then I'm going to put it into the comments of my YouTube video being like... Or maybe you can comment for me so I can get some interaction on those fucking YouTube comments.
About someone.
Ooh?
You might know him. You know Golden?
I love Golden.
You got to get him on.
Gotta get Golden on!
Yeah, because he's not a coach or a player, right? But he's also...
He's management.
Involved with the amateur scene and the LCS scene now. He'd actually probably be a really good bridge. Yeah, I've known like Stinger, like Golden now they just called 3-4 years on and off, so
yeah, okay.
Bring him on actually. I think it'll be a good.
I think I can do that. Me and Golden are actually quite close, so that works out for me. Alright, well thank you so much, man. Guys, don't forget to go check out Kim, Poltron on all the socials. Don't forget to hit up Team Bliss as well. Let's give them a big cheer on as we head towards the playoffs of the LCO. But until next time, guys, I have been Pike, he's been Poltron, and we will see you on the next adventure.